It's not easy being green. It's not easy being Kermit. Yeah, Kermit the Frog. You think you have problems, Brian? I'd like to tell a story about somebody else who's got girl problems. There was a little green frog named Kermit. Kermit D. Frog. You know what D stood for in Kermit D. Frog? Ah, the letter the, or the word the? No, that's what people think. And it actually stands for danger. Kermit the Frog is he lives with danger. So back in the days of the grandfathers, there was a talking frog named Kermit. And in our language, we would call him Kermit the Omaakakii. Omaakakii. Kermit the Frog. And Kermit would sing songs about how tough it was being so lonely. He lived out in a swamp. And, he would sing, Gawin, Wendat Z, Ojawashko, Ojawashko. Gawin, it's not. Wendat Z, it's not easy. Ojawashko, being green. Well, I should have put that up. Yeah, huh? It's not easy being green. Nobody loves you and whatever, But then, as luck would have it, he left the swamp, and he went into the city, and he went into the barrio, and he found other people kind of like him, not quite like him, no frogs, but he found a green, hairy man who lived in a garbage can. His name was Oscar. Then he found a giant yellow bird who called himself Big Bird. He didn't even have a name. He just described himself as his name. And he met some monsters, it was a cookie addict, named Cookie Monster. And there was a pervert named Tickle Me Elmo, who should not be on that show anymore. I can't believe. After all the scandals with that guy, but, kind of a Joe Biden sniffing creep, pedo, named Tickle Me Elmo. But he came along long after. At first, it was just a small group, and then some humans. There was a Hispanic girl named Marie. She was really cute. There's a bald guy named Gordon. There was a kindly shop owner named Mr. Hooper who would die and bring everybody even closer. And there was a white guy named, I forget, but the white guy. And he found a home there, eventually he started reporting on the news. He would wear a trench coat when he reported on the news, and he had many friends. Sometimes he would teach the letter of the day and the number of the day. And he found purpose in his life. And, compared to a lot of the people on Sesame Street, Kermit, he had a work ethic. And he had some sensibility, and he was organized. He wanted to improve his life. Eventually the day came where he got a promotion. The directors and show producers of Sesame Street, they came up to Kermit one day and they were like, "Hey Kermit, we like what we see what you've been doing on our show. How would you like to host your own show? We will call it The Muppet Show." And Kermit was just over the moon. He was so happy. He goes, "Oh, I'm going to do the best job I can. I will bring together all my friends that I can. I'll get together a band of guys who can play music. We'll have rock stars come on and be guests. It's going to be great. We'll do sketch comedy and stuff. And we'll even have a laugh track. So in the offhand chance, there's a couple of old men who watch our show every day. Kind of like here, that one person who always gives us a thumbs down. Yeah, they're kind of like those two old men. Yeah. He says, even if there's a couple old men who show up every day just to criticize our show, we'll have a laugh track that will drown out their criticisms. Everyone will laugh with us, with our laugh track and our slapstick humor. So, and he recruits like Fozzie Bear and Ralph the dog and whoever. But, the one thing Kermit still didn't have was true love. So it got Edie when what he really wanted, he had fame and he had money, but he had no love. Well, who walks into the studio one day? Miss Piggy. Kukush, a pig. And she was a pig. She was overweight. She was entitled. She was rude. She was abusive. She wore way too much makeup, too much perfume. She had this ridiculous blonde wig. And she was crude, She was just, she just wasn't very ladylike. But Kermit's got one look at this pig. And he was like, oh, wow, look at that. I never saw a pig wear makeup and a blonde wig and clothing before. And, he had been lonely for so long that he was like, well, this pig I actually have a shot at. So he put his standards to the side. And he went up to her and he was like, hey, I'm Kermit the Omaakakii, the frog. And she was like, just snuggling in the dirt, And he goes, excuse me, ma'am. I am Kermit the Frog. I'm the host of the show. Would you like to be on our show? What? Frog? I don't know. And she looks up, and she's just this nasty, I thought I had a picture of her. She looks up and she's all like, what, frog? And he goes, oh, you're so beautiful. I would like to ask you out to dinner, and maybe we can get to know each other. And with that, she goes, hi-ya! And she gives him that whatever, that karate chop. Yeah, I know, she's totally abusive. Yeah. And she just karate chops him. But, Kermit was already kind of a nudist and into weird stuff. And so he was like, oh, wow. Now I'm truly in love. And so that's how they got together. The Muppet Show would run for 7 seasons. And they would have the biggest stars come to the Muppet Show. Alice Cooper, Elton John, you name it. Prince. They would have the most popular stars of the day come and be guests on their show. And later on, long after the show would retire, and Kermit finally gave up being the host of the Muppet Show, Miss Piggy went on to have a career of her own. A lot of people don't realize this, but she went on to change her name to, that comedian. Got it. That would have been funny if you had timing. You mean Amy Schumer? Yeah. She went on to be Amy Schumer. Okay, honey. I got it. No, the whole story was a build-up to the Amy Schumer joke, and then I forgot her name. But yeah, so, ladies and gentlemen, Amy Schumer. I don't know. And this has been the story of Kermit, the Omaakakii, and Miss Piggy, the Kukush. Modeling just the worst kind of relationship you could have to children. They're not married. She is verbally and physically abusive. He's totally spineless, total beta male. I've never approved of that relationship. I know you have. You've even talked to him about it. Yeah, I told him he should leave her. I know, but he won't. Maybe he loves her. I don't think so. You don't think he loves Miss Piggy? No. I think it's some weird, addiction. You know, maybe he likes the abuse. You know, he spent so many years in a swamp. You know, and also, you know, Sesame Street has gotten awfully woke. I saw that Kermit singing with a drag queen on their show, The Rainbow Connection. I was going to pull up a picture. I wonder if I have a picture of that. I probably don't. But, you know, so they want to kind of send a message that it's okay for women to be abusive to men. You know, that a man, you know, he is really subservient. She doesn't even have him wear clothes. I mean, that's just, I don't approve of it. You know? I just don't know. And I know, you know, they're also trying to push this agenda that love is love. Doesn't matter what species you are. You know, that's going to be the next thing. Oh, why can't a frog and a pig marry? You know, well, in my religion, that's an abomination. We should not have frogs and pigs marrying. It cheapens, you know, our sacred ceremony of a church wedding if you allow frogs and pigs to marry in a church. I'm sorry. That's a religious thing. I gotta put my foot down. But no, Sesame Street's all like, hey man, new rules. Get woke. Love is love. It's all right if she's an abusive pig and he's a beta male frog, you know. Who are you to say that that's not, you know. I'm a little mad at the BOOZHOO crew. Really, why? Well, because they support this kind of, you know, free love. I expected them to have a little more, you know, values, the Anishinaabe values. Well, is it not traditional to, you know, be into open relationships or whatever? That's a good point. I mean, we don't have a whole lot of thou shalt nots in the Ojibwe way. There's a lot of thou shall, you know, like be respectful. But I don't think it's respectful of the Christian ceremony, the wedding ceremony. That actually is a sacred thing. And if they're just going to let frogs and pigs marry, and then, you know, how does that even work, sweetie? What do you mean? What, are they going to have some sort of hybrid frog pig baby? I don't think that's without gene split. I don't know. Which brings up our Ojibwe word of the day. Monadainda moen. Now Miss Piggy, she needs to learn a little respect. You know, yeah, I know it's a woman's world now, and it's all about respecting the woman. R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Well, what about the respect for the frogs? And the traditional life values of, you know, okay, fine, you want to have some sort of civil union? You want to have a ceremony of your own that tells your family and friends you're going to be married? Go ahead. Frogs and pigs, have your thing, but don't bring it into the church. This is sacred territory. This is my Father's house. I can't, you know, it's not respectful. That's all I'm saying. What if he wanted to marry a Mashkode Bajiki? Oh, a buffalo, that's fine. Yeah, frogs can marry buffaloes. That's part of the way. But we don't, you don't eat pigs and you don't marry them. I think that's anti-Semitic. How is that anti-Semitic? Well, because pigs. Yeah. What was that Family Guy episode where when the little Jewish kid, he was like, didn't want to, what's that thing they do when they mutilate pigs in biology class? Oh, dissection? Yeah. A lot of education there, teachers. Today we're going to dissect a pig. But the Jewish boy was like, hey, I can't do this. My religion won't allow me to, you know, touch a pig like this. And the teacher was like, hey, believe me, it's no treat for the pig to get touched by a Jew either. I was like, what? No, that's anti-Semitic. Or anti-Jewish or whatever. Kukush, it's pig. Omaakakii, it's frog. But you have to have a little manadindamoan to the traditions, to the sensibilities. Just because you think you're in love doesn't mean you get to trample all over other people's ceremonies. It's not just about you, Kermit and Miss Piggy. Is Miss Piggy just a drag queen? She might be. I mean, her name is Miss Piggy. Let me take a look at her again. Yeah, what am I talking about? That's not even a female pig. Miss Piggy is probably a male pig. I don't know. And then there's that unsung hero.